So I think you have read this disclaimer, right, everyone?
Looks like new slide has been added to the PC.
Yeah, disclaimer. This is the first time I'm looking at a disclaimer.
Because I think last time Bala has asked Sushma that character is not apt to the role. So I remember that to avoid that type of questions I've mentioned here.
I didn't mean that. I
No,
just want to highlight so that everyone will understand about the characters.
this is the fun part. As of now, started. Okay, let me for new people. So I think no one is new, but anyway, each one. This is a a good way of sharing our experience or our knowledge with each team member, so that when they got stuck in at some point, or when they doesn't have the knowledge on the some topic, they'll get back to the people who has worked on it, or they'll remember this video and they'll get back to this video and they'll come to know about that, and they'll work on easily with that instead of going to Google everything. So today, for me, I'm going to share my experience on integration in Salesforce, which I worked on for a project. So what to expect from this session is that I'm not going in depth in depth to each and every point to tell. I'm only letting you know that how we are going to establish a connection, how the format, what is the format of sending the document to send, and the required information, like what is the mandatory fields or what is the mandatory information we have to get from the client, so that we will be using that here. And the same will be reflecting for the receiving the data also. So I'm going to show you how we are sending the data, how we are receiving the data into Salesforce also. So this can happen in this complete cycle shows the integration with Salesforce with one third party system. And if you are wondering, this is this for me? Yes, this is for developers. For developers, it is like you will come to know there is a way. This is the only one way of implementation we have done. Maybe there will be another way, but we have done in this way for this use case. So this is the one way of implementation, so developers will know. And for consultants and admins, you will have an idea like what to ask the clients when you're accepting the requirement. So use case which we got is here. There is a boat firm which gets its booking from the external website. They had their own website. They'll get the orders from boat bookings from that, and that will be stored in the Salesforce. And they want, once the lead is converted into opportunity, they want that this opportunity, that work order will be created. So they want the work order details to be stored into the third party system with them. And once the updated details, they will update the details there once the order is ready, and they are sending it back the order to the client, their client. So they'll be sending updating the details like delivery location, delivery informations, or time, everything they will be updating in their system. And they want that details to be stored back into the Salesforce, and they want them both third party system data and the Salesforce to be keep updated every time. So they want the automation from the Salesforce to be done this by a automated. So the solution which we have given to them is we are like, once the lead is converting into opportunity, we are storing all the lead data into the opportunity, and we are sending a document to their client saying this through a PandaDoc document. Again, that is another implementation here. I'm not going to show you that here. I'm just giving a brief of this. That PandaDoc document will be sent to their mail, and once the client accepts that, their client accepts the PandaDoc, sign on the PandaDoc document, we are generating an invoice for that, and we are creating a work order confirmation. And the work order data, once this work order is created here in our system, then the data will be sent to the third party system, that is a bolt system, third party system, and that will get stored there. And once the our client, the boat firm which has done everything, is ready, the boat is ready to deliver, and then they will update all the information in the bolt system. That in again the data automatically, we have automated that automatically it comes and maps into the Salesforce fields, like arrival time, as I mentioned here, like arrival time, everything. This we have achieved through API integration. Which API integration? Everything I'll explain you. After converting this, we have the ways the solution implemented is, first we have converted the lead to after converting, we are sending the document, Panda document to the lead. Then once the document is signed, we are updating the invoice and the work order will be created. Once the work order is created, we are initiating a trigger there, which makes a callout function with the JSON data formatted, because the third party system accepts the two ways of a data formation, that is XML and JSON. So we will be having a deal with the client by saying that what their system accepts, like a JSON format or XML. They should be having some person who is who knows well about this JSON format to integrate into their system again. So that part we are not taking care of that. We are only handling what we are sending.
Okay, Radhi, just give me 1 minute. I'll just explain it on a high level.
Sure.
So, team, the problem statement was something like this is a board firm where, based on an agreement, you got to send your shipment details to a third-party app based on a board type. And what they would do, the third-party system, which is called Bolt, they would update all the timings because that system has the capability to check all the GPS locations of wherever it can deliver the board services. Okay, so they update the data based on the board information that Salesforce is sending to their system. And once they have the information, when like say, if I have to get a boat within a week, they'll try to update the information into Salesforce saying within a week at this particular point is where you can get a boat delivered. So this all processes, they wanted it to be integrated. So what Rajiv was mentioning about Pandadoc is more like a contract agreement, which the client signs. And that's when we actually trigger this process of, creating a work order, sending the details of the boat, which the customer wanted into the third party system. They will check the locations where it can be delivered, the location points, which they have in their database. They'll update the arrival delivered times and they'll send it back to Salesforce. That's when, once it's in Salesforce, we intimate it to the customer saying, okay, this is where you're going to get your board delivered through an SMS or email.
And whole process is should be automated.
Yeah, starting from lead conversion, once the lead is converted, I hope you have the concept of all these objects. So once it's converted to an opportunity, that's when you send a contract or a quote to the customer. And once he checks all the data in terms of the total value that he has to pay, once it gets paid, that's when the quote is accepted, and then we trigger our work order process, the one which we've explained, like sending the data to the third-party system, getting the data updated based on their GPS locations and availability, and sending the data back to the system. So the data coming back to the system is more of the delivery location, the arrival location, and the point where it will be delivered. Okay. So this is the entire process. Yeah, Raja will be showing mostly on the integration points of how we send the data, how we are getting the data.
I'll show it in the demo.
Yep.
So here we came with the agreement with that client that saying that we'll send in a JSON format, so that they will receive in a JSON format. Again, while sending back the data, that edited data, the modified data, they'll send in a JSON format again, so that we will be capturing the JSON data and we will map the fields to our Salesforce, into our Salesforce. And for this, while sending the data, we are using HTTP methods like callouts. We are making a callouts and we are sending the data for the system. And while receiving, we are using the REST services here. There are, as I mentioned, JSON uses REST services, and XML we can implement through SOAP services. So I'll be showing you the demo part here. So
By the
once
way, people are wondering, did they hear it right? Yes, boats. They actually sell boats, and right? It's weird for me when I heard that, but
it's a boat form, yeah. So here, once the lead is converted into opportunity, we are storing all the data in the opportunity from the lead, and we are sending this document like Pandadoc document. As I said, we are sending one of this Pandadoc document, which will be having the information about this, all the details, and it will be sent to the lead, so that once the lead agreements and signs from his Gmail on the document and agrees for that, it will be updated here. PandaDoc will be updated, and here the PandaDoc we can see here. So the PandaDoc document, once this is created, the work order is created. So we have written an automation for that. So once the work order is created, this is the work order. The details will be filled here. Once the work order is created with the pickup location, with the delivery location, and what product it is, and everything, work order name, everything. So the data which they want to save in the Bolt system, they have sent us like which data they want, like what are the fields they need to get into the Bolt system for them. So for that we have written a trigger for that, which will be handling after the work order has created. So this I'll be showing you it from here. Like for this is for sending the data to the third party system. Work order trigger handler. So this class will be framing the data, like what are the fields they want. They have given us for this. We will be framing in a JSON format. So JSON format, here we will be all framing the objects, like from the objects we'll be getting the data whatever they want. Finally we'll be serializing that JSON, and we will use that to send them. The JSON format data will be looking in this format after serializing. They want the status, terminal codes, comments, and purchase orders, everything. This is from purchase order object. This everything will be getting from the work order object, and we will frame like this. After serializing the data, data will be in the model of this. So this data is accepted by the Bolt system. Once this JSON object is framed here, we are calling a HTTP callout class and sending this framed data to that class, callout class. So here we are making a callout for the external system. For this, @future callout true is mandatory when you are making a callout for the external party system, external third party system, so that this future callout method makes the HTTP to work. Here, when we are creating an HTTP request, this endpoint URL is given by the client, and this header key value, API key value also is given by the client. So from client we need two things, like endpoint and the header part, API key, so that in the JSON format, when we are sending this HTTP request, it will be hitting that endpoint URL. We are getting the input a JSON object here, and we are setting the body with the JSON object. We are framing that in the HTTP request, and we are sending the request here. Once we receive the response, the response might be of different kinds, like a 404 error, 400, whatever we are getting, we have to capture it. Here we are only seeing for 201. 201 means okay, the document, the data is sent to that and accepted by the system. So here we are using only 201, but there might be like errors also, like 400, 409, so 404. 409 error, we have faced an issue for that. That is like when the data is sent to the other system, the document is not ready yet. But when we are like immediately making a second call out, so the data is not ready yet, and the system will be like not accepting some data from there, right? So then you will get some 409 error. So that we have captured here. So you have to be means carefully addressing each and every status code which you are getting. You have to capture it and work on whatever you have to do regarding respective to the error. So this is the way which we are only sending the data. So once the Bolt system accepts from here the work order endpoint is as we have stored them as a custom label, but I'll be showing you how it looks like. So here the work order endpoint, everything we have mentioned, and we are sending the data to the third party system. So once the third party system has received, we'll get a 201 status code. So it is accepted, like it is accepted. So once they have like everything is ready with them, like a boat, everything is ready, and they are like they want to edit the details there. They will be editing like delivery time, location, pickup location, estimated time of delivery, everything. So once they edit there, that we have to receive to our system again. So there they have automated there, and we have given them whatever we need to receive the data. I'll show you that what we need to receive when we need to receive. So when we are trying to receive the data from the third party system. Here we will be using our, as I said, REST API services we are using here. So for that, we have to write an Apex class, which will be having @REST resource as a thing here. And sorry, URL mapping equal to, this is the mandatory for the class which is receiving the data from the external system. And this is the last part in that URL which we will be giving them, so that the third party system identifies which class is having the same URL mapping here. So now when they send the data in the URL, they will be mentioning @/API/work order/hash at the last. So seeing that when receiving the data, this class is identified that this class will be receiving the data, and this Apex class starts working. Here we are using HTTP post method to map the fields. This HTTP post method, there are like 4 or 5 methods. There HTTP post, HTTP put, HTTP get, everything in this REST order, REST resources, this class. So I'll give the link for you so that you will go. You can work on that. Whenever whatever you needed, you can get from that. So we needed the data like post method for the post method. So we are getting through HTTP post, and we are updating in our system. This is the work order manager class, which will be after getting the data here, we are mapping into our system, like estimated time of delivery from we will get from there, and we are mapping into our work order object. So everything after mapping, after done, we are saving into the database. If you're wondering like how while receiving the data, simply when they send the object, will it be able to receive? No, it is not like simply the JSON format. As I said, JSON format, we agreed for that. It's not like once they are sending like work order vessel picked up equal to this, and this some date, and they are sending, it will not be acceptable for the system. So there, for that wrapper class we are writing, which is having the same fields which we need from them. So they have to send on with the same name here. Exactly, it has to match the same name. So we will be giving these names which we mentioned here to them, to send them, to ask them to send in this format. And I will show you here. Yeah, this is the format which we are going to receive from them. So here the attributes like a type, what is the type, reference ID, and the name. What is the name here? Field name. And what is the field name? That with that, what is the field value? So we will be asking them to send in the format, given format. Whenever they are sending from their system, they will be handling that how they are sending the data. Once they are sending in the same with the same names, with the same thing, it will come here. It will see this URL mapping. It will hit this class. After that, this work order will receive all the data into these fields. And we will be giving them for this. We have to give them. Let me show you what we need to give them. For this, we will be giving them our user ID, our username. Our username, our org's username, our org's password, and grant type will be password. A client ID. Client ID, when you are like integrating with the other system, when you're getting data from the other system, we'll be generating a client ID in our system, client ID and client secret, and we'll be giving that to them. I'll show you where we are getting, from where we are getting the client ID and client secret. From the app manager, we'll be creating an integration for that. We'll be integrating an app here. So once we have done with this app, it will give you an API client key. Here, from here, we'll be getting the client key, and here we'll be getting the consumer secret key, that is client key, secret key. So these two we have to give them with along with that. And from when you go to the settings here, you'll be having the security token here for your system, for your org. So once the security token, you'll get, when you reset the security token, you'll get the security token to the mail. Once you set this security token along with the fields of client security, client key, everything, you have to give this also to them, so that they will be using them to to connect from their system to our system. Once they use exactly this and connect here, they can start sending the data from the system, third party system, to here using this URL mapping. HTTP, we are handling it through HTTP post method, and here we are mapping into our Salesforce system. So, did I miss anything? I'll just go on. So this is the demo part. If you guys have any doubt on how we are using or what you are using still, please, you can get back to me whenever you want. I'll be showing you that how it's working. And here are the two links. That this, as I said, this is this is for REST callouts, and this is for integration of into the Salesforce system. So these two trailhead is providing us so that there is a demo also which can be done. There is an endpoint URL, which dummy endpoint URL, which will be working. So you can see what the data is received there and what the data, how we are sending also. So yeah, takeaway is like I have shown whatever I have shown you till now explanation. I have shown you the connection to the third party system using callout and receiving through URL mapping. And the format we have discussed that it is in the format of JSON. We have agreed, and we are sending the data in the JSON format. And the errors or problem we have handled is like whatever the errors we are receiving, like I said, the 201, 400, 409. So you have to take care of them. Thank you.
Do you have the sample documentation provided to the customer?
No, I don't have it with me.
Okay, so when we provide a documentation to the customer, we need to include the JSON format also, which they have to send.
It will be like mutual agreement. Like we'll be sending one format. So whatever fields they want, they'll be arranging them in the format they want, and they'll be sending back to us.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell. So we need to give them
Yeah.
the JSON structure also along with the
Yeah,
credentials.
yeah, but I can chip in there. So they have a particular format in which their system works. Okay, so we had to tweak our API into the format in which their system works in order to get the data. So that's how it started. And then we were checking on the feasibility from our side as to how we can get the data into our system and what fields we need. So that's how we've asked them the structure. So they already follow a structure. That's what they've shared with us. And we are sending and retrieving the data in the same. So we have a format already available. Yeah.
It depends. So generally we
depends.
will give the structure where they have to write the column. But
Right.
if it is a tool based in their side, then we'll follow their structure.
Yeah, that's what they provided. We are following the same structure.
I want to add one small thing. So
Please.
security token is limited to the user. So for
Oh,
every user, the security token will be different in an
yes.
organization.
Yes, because we are getting it from the here.
From the user level.
Yeah, user level.
And if we make the org or profile whitelisted, this security token is not accessible.
Oh, sorry, I
So
didn't.
you're
If
limiting
we
to an IP address, is it?
IP address. Yeah.
if someone give an IP address of range 0
Okay.
to 255,
Yeah.
then the security token will be disabled. A lot of people get confuses. They open up the org and they don't find the security token. So that's what I
Got it.
want to highlight.
So what is the next step, Bala, for that? If it's blocked and not within the IP range, we got
We
to
can't. We
add the
cannot
site to
give.
that IP, right?
We cannot give infinite range. If the
Hmm.
range is, we can remove that and add the IP, whatever the IP we
Yeah,
include.
that's what I thought. Yeah. Okay.